what I think we should normalize more on social media is being broke as fuck.
They was making, those motherfuckers. People are out here wondering, how were they making all that money and now they broke as a bitch?
Controversial opinion, but I think that most influencers are going to end up going broke, and I'm going to explain to you why I know this. I'm saying most, not all.
What's up, financial hawks? It's your man Eric, and in today's video we're going to be going over more people being broke, more people being poor in 2025. And yeah, it can definitely be crazy, especially with rent and everything else kind of just going up in prices. And I think it's going to continue again even more in 2026. But let's get into it.
And I can barely afford to pay rent with my salary. My salary bi-weekly is basically my rent minus $500. Guess how much my car is? $400. Guess how much insurance is? $100. Oh, yeah, that's right. You do the math. I'm left with owing money at the end of the month. That's not even with groceries. Holy, that's not even with groceries. I realize every single month I am transferring money out of savings into my checking, and I am not. Just had the realization in the car that I'm actually going to go into debt if I continue being a teacher. Like, genuinely. Wow. I'm like literally having a crisis right now. I'm going to have a panic attack right now. I can't do this. I literally cannot do this. Knowing every single month that most of my money is literally like, I don't have money. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to pay off my credit card this month. I don't know. All right. Well, rats, peace and blessings. And I hope you can afford your rent today and groceries and your car and insurance and life. Bye.
So yeah, teacher salaries definitely suck. I've done, I think, like 2 or 3 like full videos, like 30 minutes a piece, going over teachers, talking about the salaries. And yeah, they've pretty much all don't like what they're currently making. And yeah, I'm not surprised that I'm assuming she's by herself, that she's dealing with all of this. I'm pretty sure a lot of teachers are dealing with this, because not only do teachers, at least the pay doesn't seem like it's really that good, for like a yearly salary a lot of the times, outside of, be like a professor and stuff like that. They also have to pay for certain things, like in the classrooms. Like I was hearing that they had to pay like for like markers and like extra pencils and other like school supplies, like inside the classroom. I think like the games and stuff, they, have to also pay out of pocket, and like other stuff they got to pay out of pocket too. So it's like, not only are you not really getting paid that well, but you're also going to have to pay, a lot out of pocket. And I'm assuming probably like the younger the kids are, probably like the more you may have to pay, out of pocket, because yeah, if you have a whole bunch of 17-year-olds, you may not have to buy that much. But if you have a whole bunch of like 5, 6-year-olds, buying them, XYZ to make class maybe more fun, or things that may be necessity for certain activities that you will probably end up having to be out of pocket on. So yeah, that is crazy right there. I think a lot of people also are dealing with the part of they're making just enough for like their main essentials, but they don't calculate the actual groceries. And that's a harder one to like actually like factor in, because it can vary on price, especially if you're not buying it online. It can kind of go back and see how much you're paying. Yeah, that can definitely be something right there, because again, you might not even be thinking about it. And you definitely need food, right? You definitely need some food. I know if you're watching like Dave Ramsey right now, he probably would talk about like, hey, go ahead and just eat beans and rice 24/7. And yeah, I don't think that necessarily bad per se. I say go ahead and add in some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to that as well. Fix it up a bit. But yeah. I think a lot of people, not just teachers though, are dealing with this right now. And again, I don't think it's going to be getting like any type of better in 2026. Her doing this content right here, like online, I think that's at least some way that she can make additional income, because again, we like to talk about ways that you can improve your situation. So, hey, I don't know how many views this one got, but if it hopefully has enough views that she can make some money off of this one, maybe make a video a day, and can make some money on TikTok using that. Hopefully, if you could then post those videos from TikTok on your Instagram, Facebook, etc., and start making money that way. So at least you have that second income, and then that second income could be enough for you to actually not have to worry about, constantly having to take out money from your savings each paycheck. But yeah, a lot of people are dealing with this, and this is going to continue and probably get even worse.
An ounce of insecurity about where you are financially for your age. Remind yourself that statistically, you are the poorest you'll ever be. Like if you're broke in your 20s or only beginning to care about your finances in your 30s, That's correct. I always tell my friends and my clients that there's no better time than your 20s and 30s to take risks, experiment, carve out your own values, screw up. And if you're saving or investing even a little during these chaotic years when you have the least amount of money, then you're way ahead of the curve. It'll likely only go up from here. And once it starts going up and the stakes are higher, that's when you really want to make sure you're making the most out of that bigger paycheck and getting paid what you deserve. Of course, life will be a lot easier down the line if you started developing these habits earlier on.
Okay, there's some things on this video I agree with and some I don't. First off, let's talk about the stuff that I don't agree with, or one of the big things I don't agree with. She talked about you not wanting to think about money in your 20s, I guess, that being like good or like acceptable, I guess, or just being like everybody else or something along those lines. No, that's like the correct way not to think about it. And yeah, I don't think that's correct at all. Yeah, if it would be an average, regular old person, and yeah, okay. And I guess in that case, that's the correct thing. But hopefully, if you're watching finance videos and trying to educate yourself, hopefully you're just not trying to be an average person, making what, $35,000 a year, which is being average body weight, being average height. Hopefully you guys are trying to be at least a little better than average. So no, I don't think that's like the correct way to think about it. Now, they may be the normal way. A lot of people in their 20s may not be thinking about it. A lot of people in their 30s are not even thinking about, financing and getting yourself better. But yeah, I don't agree with that. Now, something that I do agree with is that, yeah, in your 20s, I say in your teens too, as well, because like they just mess up or just not thinking about any type of entrepreneurship in their teens, and then they try to start it all in their 20s. No, in your teens, that's a great time to go ahead and start, on that path of trying to, try new and different things. But yeah, in your 20s as well, you can try new things. I know I've tried out several like different types of YouTube channels and different career things and XYZ in my 20s before I end up going on the security or cybersecurity side of things in my late 20s. So yeah, you do have time. And even if you're older, you can still, make that change. You can still learn, you can still grow. So yeah, this is my two. Well, I think the thing I agree with and I disagree with. Now let's go back to another disagreement on this video. And it's talking about like statistically you right now having, I guess, like the least amount of money like in your 20s, I guess, like versus your 30s and your 40s and your 50s. And that I guess that you will always end up doing better. I don't think that's necessarily true. And the reason I say that is because those stats are based on back then. Like those stats don't account for how the world's going to be like in 2030, how the world's going to be like in 2040, how the world's going to be like in 2050. None of those stats, like this is the crazy thing with those stats and different things. You got to see how they get those numbers. Like if you see a stat like talking about, oh, if you do this one workout, statistically speaking, you'll lose the most weight out of, compared to all the other, workouts or whatnot. But they don't tell you that on that stat, how they got those statistics. They're only using 10 people, for example, 10 people who are Asian, 5'7". So it's like, yeah, there's that demographic not even that large, and you might even be part of that demographic where they even got those statistics. So those statistics from the past did not account for AI and all the other new technologies that we're getting now. For all we know, this could be your richest time in your 2030s and 40s. When you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you could be even worse. We don't know this because we have not experienced this AI and all the new technology right now that has disrupted not only the lower end of things, but also the upper end of things. There's no statistics on that because it has not happened yet. So those statistics are based on if everything was staying the same as it was back then or in the past. We don't know again how things are going to be, but for all we know, we could be getting UBI. So I guess that could change, and you could be having a little bit more money, but then again, you may not be. We just don't know yet. So I wouldn't if you're watching this video, hopefully you're just not trying to be normal. Hopefully you're just not trying to be average. Hopefully you're trying to be at least a little better than that. And with that being said, I think you should go ahead and start trying to upskill yourself in some type of form or fashion. Definitely go ahead and start doing that right now. And whatever current job you currently have or whatnot, I would see which ways that you can implement AI into your daily work, into your daily task, not only to make yourself, feel good or better at, at your job, but also too, you can use that to like promote yourself and make yourself more of a valuable asset to that company. It's like, hey, boss, not only am I good with XYZ, but I can also implement AI to, to allow my work, progress to go, extra 10% versus everybody else. Kind of just make yourself a higher candidate to either keep your job or be able to get that new higher paying job.
So I was super broke in college at one point, and I literally had to buy a textbook for one of my classes that you needed to like bring to class. So you had to prove that you had the textbook. Unfortunately, I did not have a cent to my name at this time. So I put the nicest clothes I have in a trash bag and I bring my clothes to Plato's Closet. It needed like $100 for the textbook because I park on the side of the road. Blinkers on the side of the road. The girl goes through my stuff. I get $43 back. $3 cash in hand. I go out to my car. $45 parking ticket. And I couldn't afford the parking ticket or my textbook. And it was just a humbling experience.
Yeah, that's definitely crazy. And unfortunately, that's something that, a lot of people are dealing with, like in their the day-to-day life. It's like the broker or like the poorer you are, it's like the more things get more expensive. It's like she's talking about right now, she's trying to get $100 for the textbook, but now she kind of has to pay what, a $45, $50 ticket, and she still has to pay for the book as well because she didn't even get, she didn't get enough money for both of those, and she's out of her clothes that she ended up having to sell. Yeah, that's definitely tough. And again, like I should be seeing like a ton of like similar style videos of like on social media with people who are like down on their luck and just life continues to like mess with them. And it can, I don't have enough money for this, but so now I had to pay a higher fee. And now because it's higher fee, I'm even in more debt. And because I'm in more debt, it's just like a snowball, kind of like how there's like a snowball of like the more money you have, like the easier it seems to like attain money. And like you get to the point where like you're rich or like you're famous or whatnot, and then like everybody's just giving you a whole bunch of stuff for free. It's like the opposite on the other end, where the snowball getting bigger and bigger on how much money and debt is going to be thrown like against you pretty much. So it's like, dang, it's like I'm only $1 in debt. Now I'm $5 in debt. Now I'm $10 in debt. And it's just snowballs until, you really can't get out of it. It's going to be very hard to. And, now with like, this current generations or so, the like push for everybody to go to college and spend all that money or get all that debt. And then on top of all that debt, like now you're out in your 20s and you have all this freaking debt and it's harder to get a job. It's just like, it's crazy. It's like, it's becoming so much easier for everybody to become like in debt, like slavery for the most part. Like it seemed like that's just the way it's just normalized just to get pushed that way. Like your parents tell you, hey, go do this, you go do that, you're a whole bunch of debt. And now you can barely get a job. You can barely get any type of money like that. The increases of the tuition, exorbitant, the amount it costs you to rent or, get any, place to live, sky high, car prices, interest rates, everything's just going up higher and higher. So it's like, you're your 20s and it's like, dang, but I'm in $100,000 in debt, I'm $80,000 in debt, $50,000 in debt, and it's going to only increase. It's not going to decrease unless you make a plan. And as soon as you get done with school, like I'm leaving my parents, hopefully I can get some type of job and I'm going to spend all my money towards paying off all my debt first. But then you get into you still are in a messed up place because they're going to take you a minute. And then when it's time for you to look for that, new place or new home or whatever, interest rates on houses, interest rates, to get a new car or, to buy a home or XYZ, it's continually rising. So it's like, you probably could have got a better deal 2-3 years ago, but now you need to pay more even now on something that shouldn't even be that high of a price. So yeah, it's definitely wild out here for sure.
That everybody should be broke at least once in their life. My husband and I'm not going to include my daughter because although we were very broke, she was unaffected. Anyway, my husband and I went through a financial hardship this year, basically because I didn't go back to work and his job didn't make enough money to pay our bills. We're not completely out of the water, but we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Sorry if I cry during any point of this. I'm pregnant, and struggling financially can be really hard emotionally. So, first of all, I should clarify, I think that there's a difference between being broke and poor. To me, being broke is a circumstance. It's not supposed to last that long. It's a transitional period for many. Being poor, on the other hand, is a completely different thing. I would not consider us poor. I would not say we were living in poverty. We had all of our needs met, but we just didn't have anything extra. There are definitely a few things that I took away from being so fucking broke. First one, and probably the most important thing, is I learned empathy. I learned that you don't know everybody's situation and you are nobody to judge other people because you don't know what they're going through. I must be having an emotional day. You don't know what they're willing to give up to gain. For instance, we gave up everything financially so that I could stay home and raise our baby. The second thing this taught me is that perspective is everything. Because honestly, something like going through a financial hardship can really break people. For us, it made us closer, I'd say. My perspective also brought me my TikTok channel, which has helped the family tremendously. Third thing being so broke has taught me is to be crafty and creative and learn new skills. We didn't go out to eat for about 10 months during this time, so it made me a better cook. And above all else, I'd say that being so broke taught me how to be genuinely grateful for the things you have. If we woke up tomorrow and didn't have anything that we have right now, we know that as a family, we would be okay. And that's important. Your life doesn't have to look like the people on social media to be happy. Sorry if this video was a disaster. And I'm definitely not saying that the only way you can learn those things is by being super broke. But for me, we learned a lot out of this whole year. So those are the things that being broke taught me.
Yeah, being broke can definitely teach you a lot. I definitely agree with that. I may have to do some stories, maybe talking about that, or maybe like over myself and like the brokest periods of my life and what I learned, through that process. Maybe also too talking about like what I learned through the process of getting into cyber and like grind it took, maybe the gym life, the grind it took there to get, my body where it's at now. So yeah, I definitely agree with it there on that point. Now, yeah, finances are definitely hard. It's getting tougher and tougher because it's like you got so many people who really want to work. That's the thing. Like somebody back then, like it has like a whole lot more options. Like if you wanted a job, you can get one. It's like now it's like people are applying and grinding, trying to get a job. And it's like you can't. But anyway, yeah, money is definitely, I think, yeah, it is like the number one reason for divorce. I think that's like been the case for like dang near forever, but like in the States at least. And yeah, I think that's going to definitely continue. It can definitely cause, heartache, arguments, et cetera. And if you're by yourself too, it can cause you heartache as well. Still, it can cause you not to want to do XYZ. It can cause depression. I guess it can cause a lot of different stuff, in you. So yeah, being able to financially live is something that's definitely important. She was also doing this while she was pregnant. That is crazy as well. I don't recommend that your brokest period of your life should be when, you're pregnant. Obviously that happens all the time, but if you could choose, I don't think that's the moment you would want to choose that. But hey, at least she's done with that now, at least the big part of it. That's good that she's using social media to go ahead and make some extra money. That's smart. Again, so stuff I'll talk about as well. She's making TikTok videos. Hopefully she's putting that videos like on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc., so that she can make some additional money. Because yeah, I mean, she's already making money right now on TikTok. That's pretty much just free money, putting those videos from one platform to another one. And that's just another thing I talk about a lot, but I really recommend not being social media. What's the word? Don't be just stuck on one platform. Don't be, I cannot really think of the term, but don't just focus just on one platform. Be able to grow and put your platform, put your media, your videos, your content on multiple sources, so that if one, like let's say TikTok goes down, if she only has your videos on TikTok, that's all that money going right there. But if you have videos on YouTube and here and here and here, if one platform goes down, you still have other sources of income. So all your income isn't just in one basket. All your eggs aren't just in one basket. Definitely be platform agnostic. If I believe that's the right term, platform agnostic, something like that. I cannot freaking think of that term I want to say, but I think it's like platform agnostic is like the term or something along those lines. But yeah, if you're making content, be sure to put it on multiple places. But yeah, if you want to be broke, hopefully you can be broke prior to being pregnant. So then by the time you're pregnant, you're doing a little bit better. Or maybe after you're pregnant, but then I guess you already have your kid right there. So maybe hopefully that happens before. I guess. But let me know in the comments if you guys would rather it be like you're brokest while you're pregnant. Definitely intrigued to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
How paying rent in this economy totally takes away your social privileges. Like it's a Saturday and I want to go out and I want to do something, but I literally have no money. Like after paying rent, like I have like $3.42 in my account. What am I supposed to do with that? You know what I'm saying? And I understand there's like free things to do, but I literally feel like whenever you step out of your house, you just automatically spend money just on anything. Like it's an automatic response. And it just sucks because it's like I know I can find things around the house to do. Like I could read or I could like watch a movie, but sometimes I want to get out of my comfort zone. Like sometimes I want to get out of the house and do something. Sometimes I want to go socialize. I want to sit somewhere and go somewhere and be cute. You know what I'm saying? But this is just what it is right now. And I don't know if anybody else is going through this. And it just sucks, bro. And it's like, yeah, I'm working to change my situation, but like being so isolated because my finances just don't allow me to do a lot of extracurricular activities is just really depressing.
So yeah, me and her are definitely different. I think this is probably one of the reasons I was able to at least, in my earlier years, be able to like save up and like grind really good because I don't care about having to do all the extra stuff. I really don't. Like so content being by myself, being alone, in my room or in my house or whatnot, being able to grind on videos, being able to play a video game. I mean, now I can work out on other stuff, but like back then, man, if I could grind, like, work or whatnot, maybe extra couple hours on YouTube making videos or trying to create new video for my certain different channels, man, can spend like an hour or two on the game as well, man. I'm cool, man. Like if I could spend some extra time like on the weekend back when I was younger, man, I would be content. I'll be happy, man. My bros can come over to my house. We can play the game. I can go over to their house. We go on the game. We don't have to spend no extra money to give us some beer. We good. Like some UFC, for example, one of the funnest times I had back, I think I was what grade was I in? I think I was a sophomore. I think it was during my sophomore year of college. One of my friends from high school, he just like randomly ended up like moving to Waco with his parents for like a year. It was like so random because after I graduated, he ended up moving to like Garland by some other friends. So we were able to still like hang out. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah, he like randomly moved like out there to Waco. And like I'll say Saturdays or maybe like Fridays. I forgot like exactly what day it was. I feel like it was like during a school week. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, but I was in college. But yeah, like we were like it would be so much fun to if I like usually I'll go over to his crib and we'll have the wings. His mom will make us some good wings, or his girlfriend will make us some good wings and some beer. I'll usually bring like a 6-pack, or maybe I get 2 6-pack, get a 12-pack of platinums. Oh my guys. And we just watch UFC. It should be chilling. We would be watching good UFC fights, drinking beer, on the wings. It was chilling. Like that was like super fun, So like it didn't cost that much to do that. And we had bro time, get on some good wings and then, watch some good sports, some good UFC. Especially during college, I was like a big UFC fan. So being able to just watch fights, get on some beers, vibe like that. I'm cool. I don't have to do like all the extra stuff. But anyway, yeah, I guess this whole video was just about myself and how I guess me and her are opposites. And I guess maybe that's too how certain people get into certain situations financially because they do want to do extra stuff. They do want to do that. They do want to do that. And it's like the easiest, I guess like one of the easiest ways to become, I believe, wealthy or at least financially, good is being able to stay consistent, but also being able to do the boring stuff. Sometimes, the boring stuff may not seem as cool or, fun, or it may not seem as exciting, but those being consistent and being able to, doing those boring things, boring tasks can get you a lot further in life. And like, not just like financially, but just like with your body, like for example, going to the gym, you being able to put in the hour, 2 hours, every single day, every other day, 3 or 4 times a week. It may seem boring. You may be doing the same types of workouts every other day, but man, that gain you're going to see, you're going to be seeing your body, after 6 months, after 7 months, 8 months, you're going to be beating out all the other, all the other people, all the other people out here who aren't putting in that time and that effort or being able to be consistent on those boring tasks.